Alright, so welcome to another video. I haven't made a video in a while, but I'm gonna be doing a Minecraft structures tier list today. And okay, so it has, I think, all the structures from 1.18. If they added any, I don't know if they did though. I don't know, but yeah, I'm gonna be ranking them based on my personal take on their usefulness, visual, and yeah, I think those two things are going to be the main two factors. So, the first one we got here is the Amethyst Geode. Um, so the Amethyst Geode is really cool looking in my opinion. Um, it has very unique blocks for building, and it also has amethyst shards for making a spyglass, which is pretty cool. Um, Personally, I don't use these very often because I don't really need a spyglass for anything besides just getting the achievements you can get with them, and I don't really build with amethyst, that basalt variant, and I think marble. So, or I don't know what the white one is, but I don't use any of those. So, I'm gonna put it in C. Just it looks cool. That's the only reason why it's not in D. But I personally find it not very useful at all, and it looks a little bit cool. So the next one is the Bastion, and the Bastion is really useful for speedrunning. Especially, you can get a lot of good stuff like string, pearls, and just in a normal survival world, you can get the piglins for a trading farm and stuff like that. And it looks really cool in my opinion. It's a large structure in the Nether, and I just feel like it's a great addition. Um, but overall, it's not super necessary to play the game, so I'm gonna put it in A tier. But the reason I'm not putting it in S tier because it's not entirely necessary, but it is very good to have, to find, and it looks really cool in my opinion. So the next one is a chest. I'm assuming it means buried treasure. If I'm not wrong, I'm not 100% sure. Um, I have not found very many buried treasures in my time of playing Minecraft. Um, I think it's not. There's no structure to it. The goods inside of the chest are really good, but the thing is that there's really no structure besides just a chest, and I find that to be kind of boring. So I'm gonna put it in D. The stuff in the chest is great, but there really isn't any structure to it. So I'm gonna put that in D tier. The next one is the Desert Temple. The Desert Temple is a very old structure, and it is um a an only a desert exclusive structure. The stuff inside this temple are really good. Like, you can get enchanted golden apples and diamonds and a lot of iron bones and all sorts of stuff. They're pretty good for speedruns, and they do look pretty cool for the age that they are. For how old they are in the game. Um, Overall, I think I'm gonna put them in A tier just because they are a very solid structure, and they have a lot of good resources inside of them, and I generally just find them to be a really cool part of the desert. The next structure is the desert well. Um, the desert well is a small little structure, and I remember it used to be really, really rare. I don't know if it's still that rare. I feel like I found a lot more of them recently in my time of playing, but there's really nothing wrong with them. Like, they're just a small little structure with a well in the desert, and just a nice little addition. It's nothing too big, really no very big part of usefulness to it, but there's really nothing wrong with it. So I mean, I guess I could put it in B or C. I'll put it in C for now because there's no useful part of the structure. It's really just a nice little addition to the desert, a nice little detail. Okay, so the next structure is the dungeon. So the dungeon is okay. In my opinion, it is really boring looking. It's just a cobblestone room, and it's really not anything too exciting. But it is extremely useful. It is good for XP farms, for bone farms, string, if it's the spider or skeleton spawner, and the chests contain good loot. But due to the fact that it's really boring looking, I'm gonna put it in A tier. But it is probably one of the most useful things you could get in the game. The next structure is the End City. The End City it's really, really cool. It's not super new, but it is relatively new. It's kind of like in the middle of the age of the time Minecraft has been a thing. So the structure is pretty detailed looking. It contains shulkers and an elytra, if it has a boat. It's pretty hard to get to. It's more of like a late game sort of thing, but it is very cool looking and very, very useful. So I'm gonna put it in S tier. The next structure is the fossil. The fossil is a pretty standard thing. It used to be exclusively in the overworld, like you could find it, but it was really, really rare to find. And now recently, 1.16, you can find them in Soul Sand Valleys, of course. So not too rare anymore, but they're pretty cool structure, and there's not much to say about them. You can get a lot of bone meal from it. So yeah, okay. So it seems like there is an actual fossil from the Nether. So okay, I didn't realize that. So since this is exclusively in the overworld, I'm gonna put it in D tier, just because they're really rare, and I don't really. Okay, I guess I'll put it in C, because I guess they are a good part of the game, but I mean, there's nothing really wrong with them, and it just gives you a good bit of bone meal. Okay, so the next structure is the Igloo. The Igloo I'm not too familiar with. I think I've only found like one of these in my time playing Minecraft, so I don't really know much about them. But they are a pretty nice little structure, and they do have, I think, a furnace, a bed, and I think that's about it. I'm not too sure. But they are a nice little structure, and they do make the taiga or the tundra a little bit more lively, I guess you could say. So I'm gonna put it in B tier because it's okay, it's good, it's not bad. So I'm gonna put it in B tier. The next one is the Jungle Temple. The Jungle Temple is a very solid structure. I believe it's pretty old. Um, and it's just a nice part of the jungle. Like it is pretty rare to find in the jungle, but not extremely rare to find. And it does contain a lot of good loot, and I think it does look pretty cool. It's only made of, I think, cobblestone and mossy cobblestone. But it's not bad. And it's not boring either. So I'm going to put it in B tier. Because there's also, additionally, there's not anything very wonderful and special about the jungle temple. Because, I mean, the loot isn't exactly amazing. And the block types aren't exactly amazing either. The next structure is the mine shaft. The mine shafts are a very nice addition to the caves, to the cave generation. You can find a lot of loot in them and a lot of ores, and they are pretty big. And I would say they are an A tier. There's not much to say about their actual building because there isn't much there isn't much built. It's just tunnels with things holding up the stone, I guess. Which is pretty much it. But the loot is good, and it's just a nice part of the caves in general. And I just find it to be a more than acceptable structure in the game. So the next structure is the Nether Fortress. It just disappeared here. It's over here. Okay, so the Nether Fortress is a it's a very large, for sure, a very large part, very large structure, and it's a very iconic part of the Nether. It's an old structure, but it is very big, and it contains blazes, which is the only place blazes can be found, and wither skeletons, which is also the only place wither skeletons can be found. The loot there isn't exactly fantastic, but you can make some good farms out of it. And getting wither skeleton skulls is great for making a beacon, which is very, very useful. It also looks really cool in the Nether, so I'm going to put it in A tier. It's not super great because the loot you get there isn't super special, but it's pretty solid. So the next structure is the fossil. The Nether fossil. So the Nether fossil is really common in the Soul Sand Valley, and it's a great source of bone meal. I'm not sure what else to say, honestly. That's pretty much all there is to it, but I mean, it doesn't look all that interesting, but I know you can make some pretty good. It's pretty useful for speedrunning as well because you can do divine travel. I'll put it in C along with the next to the normal fossil. Yeah. Okay. So the next is the Ocean Monument. The Ocean Monument is a really really large structure, maybe one of the biggest ones besides the fortress or the end city. Yeah, it's really really big. It contains guardians, and the Elder Guardian and sponges and the Prismarine blocks, which is exclusive to that place only. I think. But honestly, I don't really like the structure all that much. I don't like the colors. The bluish green isn't. I'm not really a fan of those colors, in my opinion. And I think that honestly, I've never really needed to ever go to an ocean monument in my whole entire time playing Minecraft. Besides, for the exploring purpose, so I'm gonna drop it in C tier. Just I've never really felt a need to go there, and just seems like something I wouldn't really be excited to find. The next structure is the Ruin Portal. The Ruin Portal is a nice little structure in Minecraft. It's not really anything too exciting. Just a broken portal with some netherrack, lava sometimes, a chest, and some gold blocks. With, of course, an unfinished portal that's been quote-unquote destroyed. So, It's I mean, that's about it. I mean, it is very cool looking. And it does have pretty good loot for how small the structure is. But there really isn't much to it, so I'm just gonna drop it in B tier because I do like them a lot, but there's just not much to it, and yeah. The next structure is the Pillager Outpost. So the Pillager Outpost is a fairly large structure which contains pillagers. You can make some really good raid farms out of them, which gives you a lot of totems and emeralds and stuff, and saddles. And I do really like the build in general. And I like the fact that that's a place where you can find pillagers, uh, guaranteed. So, I'm gonna put it in A tier. The loot there isn't fantastic, but you can make a really good farm from it. And yeah. So the next structure is the village. The village is among the most iconic of the structures in Minecraft by far. It contains villagers, which are extremely OP when you're starting out. Food, iron, beds, all of that. If you spawn in a village when you're starting out a Minecraft world, you're guaranteed to have an amazing start. Villages in Minecraft are, like, I would argue, the best structure in the game. I'm putting them in S tier, no doubt, at the front. Ultimately, the best structure in the game, in my opinion. The next, uh, the next structure in Minecraft is, or the next structure here is the Shipwreck, and the Shipwreck is a nice little touch to the ocean. It's not exactly humongous, depending on what the generation of the Shipwreck is. It contains pretty good loot for its size and frequent, like how common it is. Um, it does have a pretty nice boat design, and it isn't my favorite because I don't really like going to them, especially when speedrunning. But it is it's a pretty good, it's a solid structure, so I'm gonna put it in B tier. The next structure is the Stronghold. So the Stronghold is pretty much essential to beat the game, no doubt about that, and it is really big. You can find good loot in it, like enchanted books and sometimes ender pearls and food. I mean, food isn't very special, but like the end portal itself is just very cool, and the whole structure is like a maze dungeon sort of thing. So I'm gonna put it in A tier. The next structure is the Witch's Hut. I've never really found Witch's Hut to be very exciting. I think you can make a witch farm out of it. I think somehow, I don't know how to. It's a very boring structure, very bland. Contains like one witch, a cat or cats. I'm not sure. Only in swamp. I guess that's pretty cool. It's a swamp structure, but honestly, it's not anything too special. It's not completely terrible though. It's just nothing too cool or special at all. The next structure is I think it's those ocean drowned buildings. I'm not sure like what it is. I have no idea really what it is. It just has drowns and some chests with like pretty mediocre loot. So I'm just gonna put it in D tier because not much to say about it, honestly. Okay, the next structure is the final structure. It is the Woodland Mansion. These structures are really big. It is the only structure in the Dark Oak Forest. There's no villages in the Dark Oak Forest. I guess it's taken over by the Vindicators and Illagers. I think that's what they called it. But I really do like it. I really like these buildings. I remember when they came out back when I was playing. It was I think it was like 1.11, 1.12, 1.11, something like that. and they were like so cool. They were so much more common, I think, back then. Now they're really really rare, but I really do like these buildings. They are really cool. So I'm gonna put them in S tier. They don't have great loot, I must be honest, but I just really do like how it looks. I really do. So S tier for that. So a change I'm gonna do right now is the Nether Fortress. I'm gonna put this in S as well, just because that Wither skeleton. I kind of under I don't know how to say it. Like, I didn't really give it justice in a way. So I'm gonna give it the S tier rank. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video of my ranking of the structures in Minecraft. Those are all of them, I think. If I missed one, I don't have no idea. I don't really know. I don't think I did. But those are all the structures in Minecraft. Yeah. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. I enjoyed making this. And, yeah. Thank you. Oh, yeah. Consider, subscribing. Or liking. I don't know. If you want.